Well, on this drive to Chicago, I kind of came up with an idea that I want to try. I don't know if I can do it. It might be impossible. Let me get back to my truck and I'll tell you about it. But it sounds like something that would be incredibly awesome to try. You know what? I'm almost to my truck. So driving here, I was realizing life is a lot different than it was when I first started driving truck. The first 20 years of driving truck, everything was just like normal. Then about 10, 15 years ago, things started getting invented like crazy. Cell phones, tablets, laptops, everything just started becoming just everyday common. I remember when Dish Network, or it was DirecTV came out with the satellite systems. And I was one of the people that had them at home when they first came out. And then I decided, you know what? My wife does not need satellite TV at home. And I rigged up some system and brought my satellite TV out here on the truck with me before anybody even knew what a satellite TV was. I dare to say I was the very first person in the entire world to put one on a truck. I'm not kidding. I'm pretty sure I was. But anyway, I digress. It's just nowadays we have everything. We have tablets and cell phones and all certain ways to communicate that just make life easier. We don't have to whip in and find a payphone to contact our dispatchers or receivers or shippers. And because of that, pretty much all the payphones, you used to be able to go to a truck stop, sit down in a restaurant. They had real restaurants back then, not fast food chains taken over. But we had real restaurants back then, and every single table would have a little phone on it. So you used to get those cards, those prepaid cards, so you can call, get directions to where you're going or whatever, not once you got into town. Before then you used a map. But you would call your shipper, receiver, or you would call your work and say, where's my next load? Where am I going next? You'd be able to sit down at a table and do that at the truck stops while a waitress brought you coffee and food. It was a pretty good time. It was all right. Nowadays we got these things. These satellite Qualcomms. They're Qualcomms. And they're connected directly to our companies, and we get all of our information over those. And if we're running late or something and we need to talk to a live person, well, that's when a phone comes in handy. But what if a driver turned all this stuff off for 30 days, never used it, went back to living the way it used to be? Can it be done? Over the last 10 or 15 years, has life changed so much that we can't go back to a simpler time? I mean, come on. Was it really simpler time? It was a pain in the butt to find a payphone when you needed one sometimes. So maybe not in our minds a simpler time, but it really wasn't a simpler time. Technology has made our life a lot simpler. But my point is, wouldn't it be great for 30 days if I just got rid of all technology, except for this? So I kept data, I keep my Wi-Fi hotspots, my jetpacks, so I can upload videos, keep the camera, keep the video going, but stop using cell phones, streaming services like Google Play Music and iTunes and all this other stuff, Spotify. Listen to old-fashioned FM radio. And find payphones to get my information that I need for work. I might think about doing that. I don't know if I'll be able to do it for a full 30 days, but I might try it for a week. Not only would that make for some pretty great content, but it might remind me of why I'm so happy that we've advanced so far in technology. Could be cool. Yeah, so definitely life is a little bit easier. I went in to try and see what it would be like at the warehouse I'm at now if I decided to go cell phone free, Wi-Fi free, and see if I could do what I used to do. I think it might be hard because sometimes nowadays you walk into the warehouse and you give them a number that they use to know what you're picking up. Sometimes that number's wrong, and it's so handy to grab your cell phone and either send an email, text message, or a phone call to try and get the correct number. Nowadays you walk into the offices, and if you didn't have that communication device in your pocket and asked, well, where's your pay phone, or do you have a phone I can use to try and get the correct number, most businesses probably are going to say no. And then what do you do? Because most businesses have taken out their pay phones in their waiting room areas. So I really don't know if you could get by without at least having a Qualcomm in your truck. I mean, if you didn't have a cell phone to call your company. Another thing is, I'm leaving Chicago now, going down to Kissimmee, Florida, where I live, just outside of Orlando. And back in the day, you would have to break out a map to try and find your way around a city area. I mean, I've been driving for 30 years, so I know pretty much all the cities in the United States and how to navigate around them. But sometimes you can get lost. You can still get lost. And a lot of drivers nowadays don't even have maps. We use Google navigation. It does make life a lot better because let's say there was a traffic jam right here. Google would let me know and route me properly, where a random McNally atlas isn't going to do that. And to be truthful, since cell phones and tablets have become a part of our lives, I have not looked at a road atlas, in quite some time. I don't even know if I could remember how to even use one. How do you use a map again that doesn't talk to you? So not only could you get your directions, let's say you need to stop for a good night's sleep, or you just need some fuel. It's so much easier nowadays on Google navigation to just type in a word like truck stop or rest area, and it just tells you where they are. And you also have the option to click on said truck stop, and you could open up Google Earth, which I'm not going to, and get a satellite view of the parking lot to see what it's normally like. I kind of like that. If atlases had that, well, they would be really awesome atlases. But if they had that, life would be easier without electronics. But they don't. You know what it's like? It's like when you go to the store and the cash registers aren't working because they're all computerized. But back in the day, tellers could just ring it up on a cash register. Nowadays, they can't even do that. Can we go back to those times? It's just amazing how much driving has changed. I mean, look at this, 90%. I'm guessing 90% of this truck stop's parking lot is paid parking. That's just insane. That's greed right there. There's like 15 spots maybe free, and like 200 possibly that charge $15 to $18 a night. Technology's not going to fix that. This is just crazy. I've never seen a truck stop like this, where pretty much every single spot is paid parking. Yeah, that's definitely insane. Yeah, back in the day it was okay. I mean, there were truck stops back in the day that did charge to park. But if you got fuel or spent $25 in the restaurant, parking fee was waived. Nowadays, it doesn't work that way. Nowadays, you pay for your fuel, then you pay to park, and pretty soon you're going to have to pay to shower if you got fuel. It's all changing. There's no way to go back. No way to go back. Once people taste that greed, it's just like technology. Yeah, there's no way to go back to doing things the way we used to. Well, I guess I'm pretty much stuck with the future. I don't think I can go back in time. I think the way things have progressed over time, in at least this profession, we could only move forward. If you try and move back, you're not going to be able to do it. I don't think anybody can do it. You can hear the reefer in the background. Anyway, guys, I may attempt it for 1 or 2 times in 1 week period just to see if it can be done, but I really don't think so. But I look forward to trying. So keep an eye out on future videos where I try and go back in the past. I wish I can go far enough back in the past to where you weren't in here bugging me at the moment. Come here. Come here. Come here. Okay, I'm not really mad at you. I'm just playing like I'm mad. Until the next time, guys, I love you. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, peace out, everybody.